guys, welcome to another episode of UBU Yoga. Erin and I hope you guys are doing well. We're really excited to introduce to you guys today a restorative practice. What a beautiful form of self-care, right, Erin?
Yeah. And it's funny. I say that so quietly, like, yeah, it's beautiful. I am so passionate about restorative that for me, this is my thing. This is one of my favorite types of yoga. I have this need in me to like take care of everybody,
You
and
sure
this
do.
practice really allows me to kind of share some of my gifts with my students. So, welcome to class today. Yeah, and you and I used to teach this class together, which
Yes, we
just
did.
brings back
We did.
fond memories.
Beautiful memories.
Yeah. So instead of working today, you get to be my students
Oh, I love it. And I'm
and
so
benefit.
excited to be a part of this.
So, what exactly is restorative? It's really what the name implies. It is a practice that allows the body to find ease, to find rest, to restore, rejuvenate. All those beautiful words that always seem applied to other people, but are definitely things that can be applied to you. So, restorative practice involves lots of prompts. So, you'll see that we've
Mm-hmm.
got, beyond just the mat today, we've got lots of blankets, pillows. Annie found an eye pillow.
I did.
This practice is all about letting go. It is all about healing the body physically and the subtle body, the spiritual body. It's just about resting. So, what you may find with this practice, right, the hardest part of this practice is your mind, that monkey mind. Because when we rest, we very often feel we should not be resting, that we should be working on those lists, that we should be thinking about grocery shopping and vacuuming and all those errands that are part of our lives. So, what you may find if you choose to practice with us today or on another day that's convenient for you, that the hardest part is that mind of ours. So it is a practice just like anything else. So some days, man, you sink right into these poses, into these props, and sometimes it's more of a challenge. But allow yourself to feel what you feel and take the practice where it is and where you are in that moment. So that being said, we are going to get into our first pose.
Great.
Yes, I know. You've been so
I'm
eager.
so excited, guys. I'm so excited because I really need this.
Yeah, so we've got quite a setup here. I'm just going to lift this blanket for a moment. Underneath, we've got two blocks that are put in an L shape, and it's supporting Annie's bolster. And then on top, we have a folded blanket. And I'm just going to run my hands over the blanket just to make sure that there aren't any bumps, any wrinkles that will destroy your rest. And then I've got some extra pillows, and I've got some extra support for Annie as she comes into the pose. So what I'm going to invite you to do, Annie, is to come and sit right up against, okay, but not on the bolster. Okay, beautiful. All right, so what I'm going to have you do is just begin to slowly come down onto your back. Yeah, and already I get that reaction a lot like, yep, this is already great, but this practice gets even better. So what I'm going to do is I want this to be a bit of a hip opener as well. So
Okay.
if you can just bring the bottoms of your feet closer together. Okay.
Kind of like that?
Yeah, I'm going to take, I have a rolled blanket here that I'm just going to place over the top of your feet and then just underneath. And just allow your knees to open. Okay. So what I already noticed with Annie is that her knees are kind of high. She's kind of tight in the hips. So what I'm going to do is just take a couple of pillows and just kind of prop them up next to her knees so that her knees can even open up more fully by resting into these pillows. How does that feel?
Very good.
Good. All right. So we're not done yet. There's more. I want to offer more support to her neck as well. So you just want to lift your head for just a moment. Give you a little bit of a fold here. Ooh, that's good. All right. What you might notice during a restorative pose, such as this one that we're setting up for, the body's going to start to cool down. So I have a blanket that I'm going to just wrap over Annie.
Goody.
Kind of tuck her in.
You're going to actually get permission to sleep.
Well, you know what? It's funny because I've had students fall asleep. I'm actually going to place some pillows underneath her arms.
Guys, this is so yummy.
Yep. And it's nice because you can do this all yourself, right? But what's really nice is when you do this with somebody else, they can do all the heavy lifting while you sink and let go. Okay, so she has a slight opening across her arms. So I'm going to invite you to take 3 deep cleansing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Another deep inhale in, side out. One more for me. I also have an eye pillow that I'm just going to rest across your eyes. So this is a pose that you can take with any sort of supports and props that you have around the house. Taking the time here just to surrender and let go. With each breath that you take, Annie, feel yourself sinking just a bit more into the earth. Here in this place, there are no lists. There is only you. Letting go. Feel yourself easing, finding space, creating space. Begin to slowly come back from where you've been. Begin to wiggle your fingers. Perhaps you shrug your shoulders a couple times. Rock your head gently from side to side. Any other small movement that feel just right. When you feel ready, draw your knees together. Very carefully, very mindfully, come to rest on your right hand side. Remembering, Annie, that you can stay on the bolster or come away from the bolster. When you feel it is time, slowly make your way into a seat, mindful of any props that may be in your way. with all these props.
So many yummy blankets around me.
Yeah. How do you feel, Annie?
I'll tell you, restorative is really great on my body because my muscles relax right into these props as I'm sitting in the poses, and all the tension that I normally feel having CP so I love this
I can already see the glow, but I also know there's a little bit of disappointment, right? Because usually in a class, I have students in this pose for a good 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Because from some of the reading that I've read, the body doesn't really start to let go until a bit into that time. And so I kind of cheated you a little bit.
That's okay. That's okay.
But yeah, it definitely, when you take the time to set up, to allow your body to feel fully supported, it's amazing the results when you just let it go.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
And I can physically feel the release in my muscles, and it's just such a beautiful thing.
Good.
Such a beautiful
Very good. So I thought I would share another pose. So
Yay.
typically in a class, right, we've done 3 or 4 poses. So this next pose is one where you're going to rest on your side. All right. So some of these props are going to get moved. So bear with me. Can I take the blanket from you?
Absolutely. Would you like me to move off to the side?
Yeah, that would probably be really helpful. All right, so usually the other hard part besides shutting your brain down is just getting the blanket set up. And it's not hard, it's just unfamiliar, and that will change. So you'll notice that I took the blanket from the bolster, and I'm going to turn the bolster so it's crosswise across the mat. And then I'm going to remove the blocks completely. We don't need them for this. So the blanket that I had underneath your back, Annie, I'm just going to fold. So you have this long, skinny rectangle. And then I'm going to roll it, leaving a little bit of a tail here, and then laying it on the other side of the bolster so that you've got the bolster, you've got this little bit of space, and then you've got the roll here. Okay. And then, let's see. So the key with restorative is to always use every prop you have in some fashion, because you've got them, why not use them? You always want your restorative to be juicy. I think that was a word I got from my teacher. You want to use it all, because that's the only way that your body's going to fully give over. So I want Annie's side to have something to rest into. You definitely want comfort wherever you are. We spend so much of our days, right, in this kind of fight or flight, high anxiety. So this practice is really going to help the chemical part of your body kind of slow down. Yeah. I know that a lot of people get hit 3 a.m. So some of these poses that I'm showing you, you can do in your bed, right? Because you've got pillows and blankets and that kind of thing. And if you're a side sleeper, you might have a version of this that you can do at that 3 a.m. time if the cortisol levels are just out of control and you're just feeling anxious. So I think we've got you pretty much set up. What I'm going to have you do is to rest your hip right up against the bolster here, Annie. I'm going to get out of your way.
Okay. Excuse me.
Of course.
Okay. So, like this?
Yes. Yep. Oh, good. All right. And what I'm going to have you do is place your shoulder, Annie, right in this little gap that I've created for you.
Here?
And then your head is going to rest on this roll.
Like that?
Yeah. So you're resting on your side. Now, I said juicy, right? So there's so many more things I can add here. So I'm going to take one of these pillows that Annie has. And Annie, I'm just going to place this pillow between your knees.
Oh, please do.
Yeah. So if you can lift your top knee.
There we go.
And then just rest. Good. Get you covered again because I can sense your body is cooling down.
I love this head roll.
Yes. Do you need a little more lift? Because actually, I'm not loving. Hold on. Since we have all these,
We could try.
there you
there
go.
we go. That's perfect.
You know what? Lift your head again.
Yep.
Try that.
Yeah, it was better down.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, good.
Okay.
And then I'm going to take the eye pillow, and as awkward as it may be on this angle, I still want to kind of allow there to be darkness for you to have something to settle into. So I'm going to kind of rest this as well as I can. Cooperate. Good. And then you can take your top arm, Annie, leaving your hand where it is if it's comfortable. But I sense you're kind of working here. So I'm going to invite you to take your hand.
Oh, that feels
and
so
just
much
rest
better.
here.
Okay.
Good. How does that feel?
Terrific. Everybody needs to try this.
So allow that breath to settle once more. Allow yourself to take another deep emotional exhale. Good. And then just allow your breath to come back to where it usually is. Inhaling and exhaling, but not really paying it any mind. And Annie, if at any point that top arm is not comfortable, I just invite you to tuck it in next to your heart. Drawing the elbow in if that feels more natural. What you may notice is sometimes it takes a moment or two to come into a pose, to really let go. So even though I may be guiding Annie, she's making little shifts here and there to find what works best. A little grounding here. Allow yourself to really give over to the breath that supports you. Know that the earth is holding you up. Back to your breath. Back to an awareness of your breath. Begin to make those small movements in. We're going to come into this pose on the other side. When you feel ready, you really let me know when you feel ready. Gently make your way into it. Show our viewers how you can come into it on the other side.
Move.
I'm gonna help you a little. I know. I feel like I'm moving you too fast.
It's okay.
I'm gonna help you out a little bit. Take your pillow too. And then if you just want to shift when you're ready. Because you all know in yoga what we do to one side, we lovingly do to the other, right? Okay. Down. And notice that Annie's taking the time to really find what's going to work for her.
Every side feels a little different.
Exactly. Can I put the pillow between your knees? Okay. Do that too. And as you're resting, always be aware of how you're feeling on some level. And what I mean by that is if anything feels uncomfortable, take a few breaths. Discomfort can be an okay thing. Pain? No. If something is painful, know that you can come out of it. And then try the pose again or try it a different way. Go in awareness of your fingers switching. And only when you feel ready, Annie, you can slowly begin to come out of this pose. I know. I know. Well, and I always feel a little cruel with Restorative. As much as it's a gift and I love it, when I pull people out, I feel kind of mean. And I don't want to feel that way. For anybody who's watching who's been in my class, you know this is way too short. Yes. All right, so I would like to do one more pose because I feel like it's a classic, and I feel like when I referred before about like the 3 a.m. wake up of stress and anxiety, it's a pose that I know I've recommended people do, legs up the wall. Literally legs up a wall, but we're going to do it with yoga props. Okay, so the setup looks a little similar to that first pose that I had you in. So I'm just going to move your
Okay. Where would you like me?
if you just want to come off to the side. Sure. What's nice is some of the stuff is going to stay right where it is.
Okay.
Okay. So, can you hand me those blocks, Annie?
Of course.
So I'm going to take the blocks, one on the shortest, one on the tallest, to make that L shape, just like at the beginning of the practice. Rest the bolster on top. I had this blanket that Annie was resting on. I'm just going to slide it forward because now she's going to be resting on her back. And I love it. You started to do it too. Make sure there aren't any wrinkles. A little bit of that Princess and the Pea situation,
Yeah.
no discomfort when you're supposed to be restoring. And let's give you something for your head too. I think this is the softest pillow you've got. Yep. I'm going to take this blanket to the other end. Right? Yeah, and you'll find that you're going to probably move it closer. Okay. So when you're ready, Annie, I'm going to have you come into the pose. So she's going to turn to face the bolster. She's going to get up as close as she can, and then she's going to bring her legs up the wall.
What I'm going to do here.
Yep, I find that that's easier.
And then up.
Yep, you got it. So let me do a couple things to make this juicy for you. Yeah, let's just start with that. Good. I'm going to give you some pillows for your arms and your hands. Oh, yeah, you have the option, if you want, Annie, to keep your arms close to your body, or if you want to bring them out for a bit of a chest opener, if that's up to you. Right. Yeah, this feels great. Good. That was the whole plan. So let's see. A little bit of a gap here that I don't want to cause any kind of back issue. I'm going to slide this through, getting a little personal. There you go.
You're allowed, honey.
There you go. Cover you up, especially those toes. Don't like toes being exposed during legs up the wall. Everything needs to be covered. Just going to place an eye pillow. How does that feel, Annie?
Wonderful. Feel all the anxiety.
I'm just going to kind of massage your feet. You get some spasticity there. Easing up. In this final pose, Annie, allow yourself to let go of anything that you might still be holding on to. Final pose. There is no work to be done. Give yourself that permission. Be okay to just be. And I'll call you back in a moment or two. Come back to your breath. That awareness of the breath travels throughout your body. Come back to that awareness of your body coming back into this space, back into this time. Begin to make those small movements as you re-enter. If it feels okay on the neck, I invite you to just rock your head gently from side to side. From here, I'm going to have you bend your knees. Just begin to walk your feet down the bolster and draw your knees in towards your chest. Option to stay just like this, Annie, or perhaps you want a little more movement. You can rock from side to side. And when you're ready to finally settle, allow your knees to float over to the left. If the blanket has fallen away, just kind of tuck yourself back in, enjoying the last few moments of our practice. And as you rest, Annie, I just want to share a poem from one of my favorite poets, Mary Oliver. It's called I Worried. I worried a lot. Will the garden grow? Will the rivers flow in the right direction? Will the earth turn as it was taught? And if not, how shall I correct it? Was I right? Was I wrong? Will I be forgiven? Can I do better? Will I ever be able to sing? Even the sparrows can do it, and I am, well, hopeless. Is my eyesight fading, or am I just imagining it? Am I going to get rheumatism, lockjaw, dementia? Finally, I saw that worrying had come to nothing and gave it up and took my old body and went out into the morning and sang. When you feel ready, Annie, carefully make your way into a seat. This is usually the hardest part. And even as you come into that seat, Annie, keep the blanket around you if you're still feeling cold or you want to keep that feeling, that moment of lasting a little bit longer. And since I'm here, I can help. Wow. How do you feel?
Oh, I feel amazing. Thank you for such a beautiful practice. I just love Restore, guys. I mean, Restore was actually the practice that encouraged me to continue to do yoga in the first place. When I experienced what restorative did for my muscles, I just longed to continue to feel as good as I do right now. So I encourage all of you to give some of these poses a try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even if it's just for a couple minutes. As I said before, I moved you faster than I normally would, but
So it felt
these
amazing.
these are poses that can be a couple minutes, but again, they can be as long as 15, maybe even 20, depending on the pose. So yeah, definitely try them out. I think restorative is something that everyone should be doing every day. But do it when you can do it, and do that as an honor for yourself. Um, I feel like sometimes we feel like we think we have to deserve something, but I will tell you right now, you deserve it. So find the time to take care of you, and you'll find that you have the energy um, and the well to be able to kind of share that with others. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Until next time, thank you so much for joining us today. How do you always put it? We love you.
We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.